Boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting virtual career day. I'm so excited to have you back, and I'm so excited that these guests have decided to join us for, I don't know, maybe second, third, fourth year, I don't know. I'm wearing a special shirt today to maybe give you a hint of who they might be, but they don't necessarily have to do with the Department of Corrections. We have with us today Homeland Security Special Agents Ben and Scott. Agents Ben and Scott, and then we have a secret agent too in the background. But welcome to Virtual Career Day.
Hello, my name is Ben Gatrost. I'm a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations.
And I'm Scott Titus. I'm a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations also.
We'd like to introduce ourselves and tell you how we came to work for the Department of Homeland Security in the Investigations Division. I was born and raised in Independence, Missouri, and I went to high school there in Independence, just like many of you are going to do. After that, I went to college and I studied criminal justice. That's not the only way. You can also study computers. And as we've shared in years past, language is very important. If you speak another language, practice that so that you can speak English and whatever other language that you may learn at home or from family members and friends. After I went to college for 4 years, I decided that I was going to stay in school. And I went to law school and became a lawyer. And then ultimately, I decided that it was a lot more fun to come work in law enforcement and helping people in this way, rather than how I helped them when I was a lawyer. So that's how I came to work at Homeland Security.
And I came up very similar. I'm from the Independence area as well. I went to high school in the Independence area and graduated and went to college. And I got my degree in psychology. And after that, I decided I wanted to help people too, so I joined the Army. I was in the Army for just under 4 years and then came back and wanted to continue working for people and got into law enforcement and came to work for Homeland Security as well.
So the reason I like HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, is because we have so many areas that we work in. Since I've been here over 10 years. I have worked international fugitives. I've worked on trafficking cases where people are essentially being exploited and forced to work and not get paid, or where people are being treated poorly. And we go in and we rescue them. I've assisted with Scott's group on many times with child cases where we help children, but I'm going to let him talk about that. Currently, I work with the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department a lot. I'm with our gang unit and also do drug investigations. And so we go after those people that are bringing large amounts of drugs into the country and bring them into your neighborhoods and also, sadly, sometimes into schools. And those are the cases that we work now. We work large-scale drug investigations and then gang investigations. When gangs start getting violent and start scaring people in their neighborhoods, then we come in and we target them and we break those gangs apart and we take them to jail when they do crimes and violent actions.
And I have also been on for over 10 years, like Ben. I've been very fortunate. I started my career in Chicago, and up there I worked drugs and gangs just like Ben does here. I was lucky enough to come back to the Kansas City area, and now I work cases and investigations on people who hurt kids. So people who try and hurt kids or take kids or make kids do things they don't want to do. Those are the investigations that I focus on. I love HSI. I've been very fortunate. I've been lucky enough to travel to Italy and Singapore and a ton of different states doing different cases that the government's wanted me to work on. I've been very fortunate and very lucky to be where I'm at, what I do.
And so in addition to our duties as investigators or special agents for HSI, Scott and I are both on what is called our Rapid Response Team, or RRT team. I'm the team leader and Scott is our executive officer. And then the agent we're going to introduce you to here in a second, he's our assistant team leader for the team. And in those capacities, our job is to go out and really help people when there's disasters, when there's flooding, tornadoes, when people need assistance and aid. We go out and we are the first ones to hit the ground to go help them and rescue them and get them what they need when pretty much the world is falling apart around them.
So we brought in some different toys and stuff for us to show you that we actually use that are real. We brought a helmet that we use for the rapid response team. to help protect us from falling branches or from hitting our head when we're going into small and tight confined spaces on the team, and a gas mask. And it's unfortunate we can't let you guys try this on. I know in the past we've been able to bring this in and everybody gets to try it. But these are things that we would use on the team when we're deployed and trying to help other people.
Let's talk about, got a chainsaw here. Sometimes after a tornado or flooding or a windstorm, there are giant branches or trees that fall over and block the road. And so for us to be able to get people to hospitals when they need medical treatment, or for food and assistance to be brought in, we've got to clear the roads to be able to get those trucks in with those supplies. So this is a steel chainsaw. Just because it's so loud, I'm not going to start it, but we train all our team members on how to operate, run a chainsaw so that we can clear roadways and paths for walking to be able to get into people that are trapped and that need assistance and support.
So other than just the stuff that we use on the team, we also brought in stuff that we use for everyday law enforcement stuff. One of those is one of our tactical vests. Now, people like to say it's a bulletproof vest, but it's kind of a misnomer. It's not bulletproof. There are still bullets that can go through it and hurt us, but it does help. It's kind of heavy. Unfortunately, we can't hand it to you and let you put it on, but it's got different pockets for us to put magazines for our firearms in, handcuffs, radio pouches. What's most important is to be able to identify ourselves. So we always have a badge and our name spelled out, and on the back, the same thing. So everyone knows who we are. So we don't just look like some random person coming in their house.
Now this is a blue tourniquet, but this is a safety item that we carry in case we get hurt or somebody gets hurt and they're bleeding badly. And I know we've used these in the past. We've demonstrated these at other career days. This is so that you can put it on if somebody's cut their arm really bad. You can put the tourniquet on, cinch it down really tight, and then, will you assist me, good sir? Once it's on, it's already very tight. Then we can start twisting this and it makes it even tighter. And so once we get it twisted around there, you'll assist me with that. Oh, there it goes. It got so tight. It's so tight that it actually squeezes all the vessels and the arteries in my arm closed. So there's no blood that can come out. So if blood can't get down to where I'm cut or injured, then I can't bleed. And so we put this on, and then we can take, if it's hopefully not one of us, but we put this on an individual, and then we can take them to a hospital where doctors can help us and can help whoever's injured and help get them better and save their life.
We also brought a couple firearms. This is one of the firearms that we utilize relatively often. It's called an M4. You may have seen stuff like this in the Army or on television shows or on video games. It's something that they show very often. We use these to protect ourselves and to protect others. It's pretty standard. The buttstock will adjust and come back longer if you need a little extra room, or go back shorter, just like he had it. This is a little optic, so if you look through it, it shows a little bitty tiny red dot, and that's how we aim the weapon and use the weapon.
And where the red dot points, that's ultimately where the bullet's going to hit on the target where we're aiming. Also, and this is very important, what we have here is a flashlight. This flashlight has a touchpad on it, so when you squeeze the touchpad, the flashlight will turn on and off. You can see that it's on when I squeeze it. Oftentimes when we go into houses, whether we're looking for kids that have been taken, or we're looking for bad guys that we need to take to jail and be an inmate, like the shirt that your teacher was wearing, it's very important that we're able to see what's going on. Oftentimes it's early morning hours, it's very dark, and we need the flashlight to be able to identify who's in the house and where we're going so we can walk safely.
Special Agent Gatrost is going to pick up another weapon and show you, but before we do that, we need to talk about what's really important about firearms. Should we play with them? No, probably not.
No.
What happens if you find one in your backyard or your friend's backyard? Should you pick it up and swing it around and show people? No. Who should you call?
You should tell an adult. You should tell your teacher. If you find it in or around a school, you shouldn't touch it at all, because The guns we have are in very good repair, but you don't know the condition of the gun that you're picking up. It could be broken, which means if you pick it up or it gets jostled, it could go off. Our guns, they don't go off even when we drop them. However, you don't know what's going on with that gun. Also, it's just not the place for it. Those bullets, when they come out, they're going so fast, they'll go right through a car door, they'll go through walls, and you don't know what it's going to hit on the other side, and they could also put holes in you, and that would be terrible. So anytime you see a gun, you treat it like it's loaded, you don't touch it, you tell an adult, and if your adult doesn't know what to do, tell them to call the police. The police will come and recover that gun, they'll make it safe. And so that's very important. When you get older, you can take firearm safety courses, you can join the military, you'll go through training and you can learn to use them. But until then, you want to leave them where they're at, tell an adult, and tell your friends not to touch them or pick them up either, because you don't want them to get hurt, you don't want them to hurt you.
This is another one of our firearms. It's a pistol. Again, you've probably seen it on a ton of different games or television shows. It's considered a Sig Sauer, that's the brand. You've probably seen lots of different types of brands, but it's just another weapon that we carry and utilize for work when protecting you and ourselves.
The reason we like pistols, and I'm a firearms instructor for our agency as well, is they're small. So when you have it, you can put it in a holster, and a good holster covers the trigger up just like this, sandwiches it in there, so the trigger's covered. If the trigger is pulled, then the firing pin will go off, and the gun, if it has bullets in it, will shoot. And so we always carry it in a good holster that covers up that trigger so that when it's in our holster on our hip, it's completely safe. And it's able to be carried every day with us, and it's secure and it's strapped in. And so when you see a policeman with a badge and a gun, you don't need to be scared because they have it in a holster that's going to keep that gun safe and secure. We like pistols because they're very small, they're compact, and we can carry them with us every single day and have them available to us.
We have another item to show you here real quick, something several of you may or may not have seen. Our vehicles, like police cars, have lights and sirens, but ours look a little different. They don't look like standard police cars. They could be a regular car that you would drive.
All right, I'm going to start with the front lights here. So there's a controller to be able to turn on lights in the front, red and blue lights, and they flash in the front. And then we have one for the back as well, which you won't be able to see. But we want vehicles behind us to know that we're the police and to be able to stay out of our way so that they don't get in harm's way. And when we're coming up behind you and you see red and blue lights in your car, later when you're older and you're driving, you want to get out of our way so that we don't hit you or involve you in whatever enforcement action that we're taking part in. We also have sirens to help people hear. I'm just going to turn it on for a second. It's going to be really loud. So I'm going to turn it on in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to stop that. But if you hear a siren coming, look around. If it's coming down the street, they could be coming very fast. And sometimes as police, we chase people. So if you hear the sirens, it's going to be really important that you look around because the police will be driving as safe as they can. But if they're chasing someone in a car or on foot, they may not be safe. And so you need to look around and get out of the way so that anyone they're chasing doesn't hit you with their car or run into you or run over you. So it's very important.
We have another vehicle we're going to take the time to show you since we're able to this time. It's a little different. It's a vehicle that we can't show you the outside to because it's used for surveillance, which means there's cameras all around it. On the inside of it, it's set up so we can sit and watch the surveillance and utilize the system to watch what's going on around us.
It's essentially a mobile station that allows us to access cameras and radios and communications devices. So when we're out in the field, we can sit in here and we can perform our job and our duties, and we can follow bad guys and criminal organizations. Unfortunately, the government has provided us with very comfortable seats to sit in. So while we're in here, we can get comfortable while we sit in here, sometimes for hours, maybe even days. And so it's very important that we have good, comfortable seats, but we have all the equipment we have all in one place. to help us do our job. So that's pretty much it. There's enough room for 2 people to sit in here and to be able to access the equipment.
If we have the time, we can introduce one other agent who has a slightly different career path, and he is dressed in plain clothes, which is how we typically dress every day.
Good morning. I'm Special Agent James Taylor. I've now been a special agent for about 20 years. Joined HSI after doing 10 years in the military. Went to college while I was in the military and was studying to be a nurse. When I wanted to help people, and I realized quickly that that wasn't my career path. I wanted to help people in another way. So on my exit from the military after 10 years, I was introduced into federal law enforcement, and I joined federal law enforcement, and I've been working in this field ever since. I love HSI. I think that we are the best agency going. We have the widest scope of authority to use to our advantage when dealing with criminal activity. We also have, how I look now is plain clothes, we have an extensive undercover program where we have agents that are trained as undercover officers that mix in with the bad guys in order to gather intelligence to bring back to the agency in an effort to help us dismantle criminal organizations. So my job for years was narcotics and gangs. And that's where I started. I'm now in charge of the undercover program, where I essentially manage the program in order to facilitate the criminal organizations dismount. And that's it. What else?
Well, I think that's really good. They may have a few questions for the 3 of us.
Yes, absolutely. That has been absolutely amazing. You know, when we talk about not being able to have career day this time around and how devastating that was for me, for our kids, for everybody that was involved, this is really neat to actually get to look inside where you are and look inside the cars, things that we weren't able to do before. So there's some good to all of the kind of bummer. So you kind of talked already a little bit about what schooling is required to do your job. And I think the thing that was super interesting was that you guys talked a little bit about, it sounded like 2 of you were military, and Special Agent Ben, you were not military?
I was not military before I came to HSI. I joined the Air Force Reserve after. 2 of the agents here had full military careers before they came to us, and then I joined after.
Which is really good to hear. So there's 2 kind of paths that you can go to get into this. You know, you can go into the military, and then this would be a great place to get into a job like this, or you don't have to. So it's kind of good to see that. So the next question is, what's your favorite part of your job?
Mine is helping kids. Every time we have a case where there's a kid involved and we help a kid, at the end of it, you feel as if you truly did something important. And at the end of those days, there's nothing that's more satisfying.
I would have to say that although I don't work the child exploitation cases, that I think that that is the one area that this job that I'm most proud of. So that being said, the other favorite part is the camaraderie. We are a true family. We are brotherhood. I know that these guys have my back no matter what the situation is in my private life as well as in my work life. So that right there, I'll take with me even after I retire.
And I'll say the friendships are good. You work with a group of people from diverse backgrounds with different experiences and skill sets. They're some of the greatest men and women that you will ever call your friends. And so there's a friendship there. The other thing I like is being able to be that person that can be called when someone's maybe have gone to the police and the police don't really work in a particular realm, and they ultimately come to us and they have nowhere else to turn. Maybe someone stole money out of their bank account. Maybe somebody, frauded them or scammed them. That's something that we're able to work on. Or in my case, there's a situation where there's neighborhoods where gangs come in and people are just so scared. And we can come in and we can be brave and we can go arrest those people that are pretty much terrorizing people in their neighborhood and take them away so that people feel safe. That is something I absolutely love as well.
All right, and our last question, because you are reporting to elementary students, they want to know, what's your favorite subject when you were in elementary school?
Mine was English and writing.
Mine was science.
I loved science. I love learning about all the different, in chemistry, I liked it when they would do little experiments and things would bubble and fizz. I love that.
I don't know if you've seen, because I can't wait to be back in school, and Bubble and Fizz Special Agent Ben is take some Colgate toothpaste and the Diet Coke and Mentos. Have you seen that?
I didn't know you had to put toothpaste with it. Does that make it work better?
When you put toothpaste with it, it makes this big cloud that actually, like, you make this great big huge mass that becomes a cloud that floats into the sky. I can't wait to try it.
Didn't know that.
That is amazing. I didn't know that. My teacher never did that for me, but now you've taught me about it, so thank you.
Sorry, not to be sidetracked there, but like, I just saw that, and I love science myself. Science is definitely something that is exciting for me, and something that I get into. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure this is probably part of your lunch hour, so we don't want to keep you much longer. But boys and girls, can't wait to see you until next time on our next virtual career day. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Bye,
for having us.
kids.